Cool. I'm going to stop my video and just welcome everyone who's joined us this morning. We are recording the stress management training. We're excited to offer it in junction with SupportLinc, our employee assistance program. We want to welcome our speaker, Monte Land, who will be taking over here in the next few moments. And so we're just really grateful that everyone can join us this morning. We will be sending the recording out in case you need to leave to meet with a client or what have you. So thank you for joining everybody. Monte, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. Well, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day and a terrific Tuesday. And you're off to a great week. I hope for those of you who celebrated Thanksgiving last week, you had a great celebration, a good weekend. It was quiet and you got some time to relax. And I hope you took the opportunity to eat too much because, every time you get that opportunity to cheat a little bit, your cheat day can become a cheat weekend. Do it. All right. It's worth it. But then once you get back, pick back up on your water, eating good, all that stuff. But anyway, welcome to Stress Management. And like Sarah said, my name is Monte, and it's my pleasure to be here with you all today and spend some time with you to talk about a subject that's really very important, many times often overlooked, and it's been normalized to a way in certain ways and in certain places that, you should live under stress or stress is okay. And there are some stresses that are okay, and it helps our performance from time to time. But when we're going to talk about it, as we talk about it today from the stress management point of view, I want you to take an introspective look at yourself, and I'm going to ask you to write some things down. So do me a favor, if you haven't already, grab yourself something to write with, okay? Because I like to use what's called the ink it, don't think it method. And I didn't create it. You've probably heard it before, but always write it down so that, you have that reference point to come back to. So it may not be something that I say, but it may be a thought that you have or something that happened in your life that was like, man, okay, here's a great moment, or here's something that I could do, that I can begin to do to reduce the stress in my life, or some thoughts that make life better for you. I want you to begin to do that. And then the second thing I want you to do is grab yourself something to drink. Why? Because I want you to stay hydrated. I'm going to do my best not to kind of put you to sleep, but I want you to stay hydrated. I want you to stay focused and engaged with me, and I'm going to do my very best to do that. You probably hear a helicopter going by. I live right by a military installation, so helicopters fly by from time to time, and I do apologize for the noise. But yeah, grab yourself something to drink, grab yourself something to write with, and we're going to get started. And I'm going to put the statement out there before I actually get into the presentation. But I want you to write this down for me, okay? And I promise you, it will help you as you move forward in life. All right. And what I want you to write down is this one simple statement: it's okay to be selfish. Write that down. It's okay to be selfish. And the reason I want you to write that down is because a lot of the things that we deal with, a lot of the stressors that we deal with, the day-to-day stressors that we deal with, the expectations that other people have of us from ourselves, is like we give so much, but we never take that time to have those selfish moments. We don't take the time to do what it takes to ensure that we live the life that we want to live and not live up to everybody else's expectations, their wants, their needs. But you have to find that happy place that for you, it's like, man, you know what? I'm going to take a moment for me to make sure that I'm okay. And when you start taking those moments to make sure that you're okay, you'll begin to notice that your life is going to change dramatically. And I say that not from a place of something that I read in a book. I'm not a clinician. I'm not a doctor, a therapist, anything like that. But one thing that I noticed is throughout my life, especially in the early years of, my early adult life, was I gave a lot. And I did a lot for a lot of people. And then I spent 22 and a half years of my life on active duty as a Marine, okay? And I gave selflessly. I did it. I signed up for the job. I'm not complaining about it. But one thing that I noticed is that I gave so much that I lost myself. And until I decided to start or I really realized that it was okay for me to have selfish moments, it was okay for me to take care of myself, it was okay for me to check on my mental health and make sure that it was in a good place. It was okay for me to stop and say no to some things and do what I needed to make sure that I was okay so that I can continue to help people. My life changed. And until you get to that point where you realize that, man, it's okay to simply take some time for you and be selfish, it's all right. And when I say it's okay to be selfish, think about this. Being selfish is not selfish. It's you protecting the asset, the most valuable asset you have, and that is you, your person. You have two valuable assets that can't change: you, your person, and your time. Now, when it comes to stress, what are you going to do to make sure that you maximize both of those every single day of your life. That's very important. And that's why I asked you to write it down. So I'm going to put a quick disclaimer out. And because I'm not a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist, this isn't coming from a clinical perspective, okay? So that I don't get any lawsuits, I just want to put it out there that my goal throughout this presentation is to share with you some ideas and give you some tips and tools, maybe share some coping skills, or maybe give you some goals that you can work through to begin to help your life get better and reduce the stress in your life. That's all we're going to do today, okay? And and if you begin to do what it takes for you, your life will change. I can't promise you this will be a life transforming, training, and your life will be 100% better after you do everything that I say to do. I can't make you that guarantee, but I want you to just begin to focus on you, begin to focus on how you can reduce the stress in your life and truly live the life that you owe yourself. And don't wait and say, well, it's too late now. Well, I'm 35, I'm 45, I'm 50, I'm 65, I'm 70. It's never too late. The sooner you start, the better off you're going to be. Now, if you have any questions or comments or anything that you like to share, do me a favor, drop those in the chat. And when we get done, I'm going to go to the chat. We'll scroll through it. And if I miss any questions, I'll answer those, and I will leave some time for questions and answers at the very end. And we'll build from that moment, okay? And I know some of you may have to leave early, and that's okay. Just go back to the recording, and I hope you find this beneficial. Now, we only have 5 objectives that we're going to work through today. And when you look at what this training is designed to do, I'm sure there's probably something in your life that you say, you know what, man, this is a great opportunity for me to get some ideas or maybe share some thoughts or with my friends and my peers once this training is over, or maybe just take some time for yourself to say, what is it that I can do to make my life better? And we're going to start with talking about the different types of stress, because when we look at how stress impacts us and the different types of stress that we deal with, like I said, some good, some bad, some help us perform, some kind of slow us down. It's okay, but let's learn to decipher the ones that and how it impacts us, and then learn what the effects of it are. Because if you don't know the impact or the effects of it, many times we make decisions based on what we assume. We have the right to make any decision we want, but we don't always have the opportunity to decide what the consequences are. And if the consequence is stress, let's start looking at things that we can reduce that by. Okay, we're going to look at some ways to manage it effectively. And when I say effectively, it's like, okay, yeah, this I've had enough, and I can't do any more. Well, when I get to that point, I'll tell you. Never mind. I'll hold it. I'll hold it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna write it down. Don't think it, so that I don't forget to say this to you all later. I have random thoughts that come through my mind, and I normally ask you to write them down. So when the thought is fresh in my mind, I say, but this one I'm going to write down. Okay. And then we're going to gain some practical tools and look at information on how to deal with it, some coping skills that we can use to grow, and then some strategic things that we can do in the workplace. Why? Because you spend more time at work than you do with the people you love. It may not seem like it, but on average, 40 to 50 to sometimes 60 hours a week we dedicate to our profession, our love, the thing that drives us to, and when we do that, we give so much in these relationships or in our profession that we kind of lose ourselves. And that's where a lot of the stress comes from. But I'm going to help you with something. I'll put this out here now. You want some of outside of your home or your personal relationships with, if you're married or partnered or whatever, if you have children, grandchildren, relatives you hang around, good friends, you want great relationships at work. Why? Because you spend so much time there. They should be great relationships. You should not be angry or thinking about, or be angered or stressed or triggered about thinking about someone that you have to deal with at work, even if you work from home. It's like, man, I have to look at this face on a Zoom call, and I really don't want to see that person. Now, when you start thinking like that, you've given them too much power and too much space in your life, and you need to change it. Okay, write this statement down. Okay, write this down, and it'll help you begin to reduce stress in your life. Don't allow people to rent space in your life if they can't afford the lease. Write that down. I promise you it'll help you, and take it to heart. Don't allow people to rent space in your life if they can't afford the lease. Because when we give people too much space, it changes who we are. We begin to change the dynamic of who we are, the way we think, the way that we interact, the things that trigger us or kind of get us off our A game, so to speak, or I like to say things that get you off your square. No, you have to bring it every single day. You have to learn to be consistent. You can't change who you are being around other people because you allow them to stress you out or you allow the workplace to stress you. No, you have to be who you are every single day consistently. And the more consistent you are, you'll see that you'll break through in every area of your life, because consistency is the key to breakthroughs in anything that you do. You ever notice if you decide to lose weight, go to the gym, change your eating habits, drink more water, stop smoking, less alcohol or no alcohol, better relationships, whatever it is, the more consistent you are, the better it gets. And when you do it and you stick to it, yeah, in the beginning it's kind of tough, and then we kind of hit easy street, right? And then we'll hit that point where, man, well, I really miss this, or this is something I really enjoy. I don't feel like doing it today. But the more consistent you are, you win every time. And you have to put yourself in a position that you win. Write this down: every day I win. You want to put yourself in a position that every single day that you experience life, you win. How can you win? You have to start reducing the stress in your life. Because when you start seeing how you live, the way that you perform, how stress impacts you, if you don't choose to win and change your mindset about who you are and the way you develop yourself to be great, you know what's going to happen? You'll find yourself defeated. And that's why a lot of people go through life and they find themselves defeated, and they say, well, you know what? Such is life. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Or they'll make statements like, it is what it is. No, from today forward, I never want you to think like that again about yourself. Start reducing the stress in your life, and you'll never have to say again, it is what it is. No, we get in situations, we improvise, we adapt, and we overcome, because we learn the impacts of stress and what it can do for us on a daily basis. The sooner I realize the impact of stress, what it does for me, how it can push me a little bit, or how it can slow me down, I learn to manage those things, and I make my life better. Like for some of you that celebrate Christmas and celebrate the holidays, I know you're going to go shopping and you're going to wait till December 23rd to start shopping. And you're going to shop on the 23rd and the 24th. And you say, man, I just love the rush. I love being out in the crowd. And you know what, man, this is the best time of the year. And some of you are going to be stressed out because you're not going to find what you're looking for. It's sold out. And you asking the people in the customer service agents in the store, hey, well, can you just look in the back and see if you have another one? Just check for me one more time. Is it online? Can you get it here on time? But had you started a little bit earlier, guess what? You wouldn't have that stress. Now, I'm not saying it's bad for you, but I'll tell you what I do personally, and I'll tell you how it helps me. I figured this out about 5 years ago. I'm done Christmas shopping September 30th. I start asking my family in April, what do you want for Christmas? Because I'm on a budget. I do. April, May, June, hey, start telling me what you want. And they didn't believe me the first 2 years. And then when they got the Chick-fil-A gift cards, or McDonald's gift cards, or the Dunkin' Donuts coffee gift card, they was like, this is it. Hey, I asked you what you wanted. You didn't say anything. Why? Because I had to learn to reduce the stress in my life. Now, when I start asking in April, listen, my phone is hot with text messages. By mid-August, they already know what they want. The only people that get a pass is my grandchildren, because they're young. But my children, man, please, they're adults. You ought to know what you want by now. September 30th, I'm done. This year, I missed it by a day. October 1st was my last day, but I want it because I don't like the stress. That's what I do. That works for me. I'm not saying you have to start that early, but I'm saying for me, it works. Because when we look at how we live life and the way that we perform on a daily basis and what stress does for us, just looking at the what you see on the screen, think about this. Everything we do is performance-based. And when we look at how we perform from the time that we were children until grown adults and where you are now in life, there's this little dirty word at the bottom called stress, right? So when you perform well, you start to learn, you start to walk, crawl, smile the first time. Your family's, yeah, you don't even remember it. But they smiled, they congratulated you, and then you learn your alphabet. You learn to count to 10, and then it was off to kindergarten, off to first grade. Yeah, you did great. Okay, now you complete that, you're off to middle school. Good job. Off to high school. Wonderful. Keep going. Don't stop. Graduate high school, it's off to college, or you join the military, maybe come directly into the workforce, and people tell you, phenomenal job. Keep it up. And then you get the promotion you want. You start the career, and you moving on a path you want, and you finally get there. You hit the peak. You hit the performance, and you've been promoted a couple of times, or even if you're in an entry level, man, I've gotten the position I want. I'm here and I'm going to make it happen. But once you hit that apex or that zenith in life, or the summit, whatever it is you're chasing, still at the bottom, you have that little dirty word once again called stress. And life happens to us. And it will slowly begin to drag you down if you don't realize and realize that you have to do something different every day. What I want you to do, write this down, is every day, just to reduce the stress, every day, write this down, get 1% better. Every day, get 1% better. And how do we do that? Just simply ask yourself this question on a daily basis. Put it in a journal, put it on sticky notes, on your laptop, in your car, on a mirror. But I want you to ask yourself this question on a daily basis. Instead of hitting the peak and stopping, just simply ask yourself, what's next? When you look at what's next, you begin to start thinking, how can I continue to move forward? How can I progress? And I'm not asking you to go, change the world, create world peace, or, stop wars around the world, or put out every fire and solve every problem in the family. That's not what I'm asking you to do. But I'm asking you to perform at a level or on a consistent basis every day of ways that you can get better, ways that you can improve your life, ways that you can keep yourself away from stress and out of burnout. Because once you hit that rut called burnout, it's difficult to get out of that rut. Now, I'm not saying it's hopeless or it's helpless, because we have counselors and we have your EAP that you can reach out to. We have therapists that we can use. I still use a therapist to this day. There's so many different resources, talking to friends or family members, whatever. You can get out of the rut. But watch this. My granny used to say this, and it took me till I was probably 21 to figure it out. But she would always tell me, son, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. And it took me a while to figure that out. But if you can prevent yourself from being stressed out, if you can prevent yourself from being burnt out, if you can prevent yourself of feeling like you want to pull all the hair out of your head or the little bit you have left, you know what? Why do that when you can prevent it? So let's not look for the cure. Now, if you're in a place where you need the cure, you're looking at a guy who had to find the cure, because I didn't know how to prevent it. So I told you, I still have a therapist to this day. I had it so bad that the things that you see on this list are some of the things that we encountered, on top of being an active duty Marine and having 5 combat tours. My life was in a place that, I'll say it this way. It's not the best verbiage, but I was jacked up. And I sat down with a mental health professional one day, and I went for a 30-minute, went to a 30-minute intake. And I sat down in that chair at 1:30 p.m. When I stood up, it was 4 o'clock. 2.5 hours I sat in that chair, just like, things that I didn't know that bothered me or stressed me out or held me down or, caused me to suppress my thoughts and my feelings, dealing with a lack of communication or poor communication with my peers or with my spouse or whoever it was, or just dealing with the difficult boss and people always wanting more. I didn't realize I would just say, okay. And I was trying to do everything and please everybody and make sure that everybody was okay. I go through the combat tours and I make sure that all my Marines that I was responsible for, the ones that I took there, did my very best to bring them all back. And fortunately, I was able to do that. But on the inside, I lost someone. The outside, the big picture, I lost myself. So I'm saying this, when you start dealing with these everyday stressors of what's going on in life, if you need help, get it. Reach out to the EAP, use a therapist, use your friends or your mentors or your coaches, whoever you have in your life that's a positive influence, do it. Because sometimes when you're sitting in traffic and you're a little angry because you're running late and the car in front of you is doing 35 and a 35 and you need to do 55 to get to your appointment, you're blowing the horn. You're saying, look at this idiot driving so slow. Get out of the way. You're yelling at them. Guess what? They can't hear you. They're in the car with the windows up, music playing. They don't know what you're saying. And then you give them the evil eye when you go by. It's not worth the stress. Don't do it to your heart. And then when you have projects that come up, or you start reducing the amount of time that you sleep, or you have no me time, these things create stress. You have to start implementing things in your life that make life better for you, that you can truly enjoy who you are and what you do. And the sooner you do that, you know what's going to happen? Your life is going to begin to change. Because when we encounter these things on a daily basis, just like they come, there are things that we can do to not make them go away. But we have to realize that, man, I have to deal with this, but how am I going to deal with it? You have to know what the triggers are. If you work in an office space, you ever notice certain things trigger you? You probably never pay attention to it. Like, who's walking by. You can hear them coming. You know who wears boots. You know who walks fast. You know who walks slow. You know who drags their feet. And you can hear them coming. You know who wears heels through the office, and you can hear them. And sometimes you're saying to yourself, because you're busy, please don't stop, please don't stop, please don't stop, please don't stop. And they stop at your desk or your cubicle or your office. Hey, got a question for you. You look up, hey, how can I help you? On the inside, you're saying, I wish you would have kept going. That's stress. So you have to ask yourself, how am I going to deal with this? Because when we encounter these things, they impact us on the inside just as much as they do the outside. Keep in mind that stress not only impacts your mental health, but it impacts your physical health as well, okay? So keep that in mind when you go through things. And as we encounter things like, the loss of a family member, a friend, or a coworker, hey, how am I going to deal with this situation? I lost my parents within 3 years of each other. My mom passed first, and then my dad. My dad was my guy. That dude never missed anything from my birth to my first baseball game until my retirement ceremony from the Marines. I mean, he was always there for everything. And when he passed, it was like a blow. And it was sudden to me because I literally just spent the day with him the day before, expecting to see him the next day, not knowing that I would never see him again. That is stressful. So what do we do in these situations? How can we move forward? How can we not let it get the best of us where it just takes us out? I know life teaches us to be resilient, and you have to, when life punches you, you have to be resilient. You have to get back up and bounce back. I get it, but do you have a plan formulated in your mind? Here's my backup plan, or here's what I'm going to do to make sure that I'm okay. Just another personal story really quickly. Last month, I spent 18 days in the hospital. I felt completely fine, thought I was okay. And I was like, man, I'm not feeling my best. I go to the hospital. I'm thinking they'll, see me in the ER and send me home. They said, Mr. Land, we're going to have to admit you. I'm like, admit me for what? And then they kind of explained, what was going on. And yeah, and I literally thinking I'll be in a hospital room. And I went directly to ICU, and I was in ICU for 7 days. So when your health takes a turn, what are you going to do? But I always have this mindset of no matter what I face, I'm going to win every single day. And that's why I asked you to write down the statement. Every day I win. Is it always easy? Absolutely not. If you lose the trust of someone, or someone that you confide in, and they share the thoughts or the feelings you have, or, you had someone in a relationship and, their infidelity happens, or you've been betrayed by a good friend, hey, it happens. But that can't stop you from living life. See, when we live, we have to realize that this is just a part of life. Things are going to happen every single day. It's not going to always be sunshine. But when the stress happens, what do? If you show up in the morning, they say, and I hope this doesn't happen to anyone, but if you show up in the morning, they say, you know what? Thank you for your service and all you've done for us. We appreciate your years here, or your time with us, but we're downsizing and we have to let you go. What are you going to do? Are you going to cry? Yeah, you may for a while, but you don't stay there. You have to move forward. And I hope none of you lose your job. But the reality of it is, if in case it happens, what do? See, you always want to be forward thinking. That's how we reduce the stress in our life. Because when you start looking at, man, I've been here before. Here's some blows that I've taken, and I've bounced back from it. I know if things get worse, they'll always get better. One thing that changed my life is a statement my dad made to me when I was 12 years old, and I'll never forget it. He said, son, the worst thing in your life will always come to an end. And when I started using that as fuel to drive me, no matter what I faced, from the time that I played sports, and from youth sports through high school, the times I was in the Marines and faced challenges, being separated from my family from 8 months to a year at a time, or just the day-to-day life stresses or things that happened in my life, the worst part of it would always come to an end. And I say, man, no matter what happens, I'm going to win. And that's what I do to reduce stress in my life. I always look for the out, not the way out or the escape, but I always look for the victory. And no matter what it is I do, write this down, develop a winning mindset. Does it get rid of all of your stress? Absolutely not. But does it help? Yes, it does. Because the more that you develop the mindset that I win every single day, I'm not going to let anything get the best of me. Okay, it's tough right now. It's all right. It's not going to be like this forever. The more you decide that, you know what, I'm going to stay in the fight until I win, you don't have to worry about staying there long, because eventually you will, because you had the mindset of, well, I'm going to win anyway. That's just the way it is. So when you start looking at how stress impacts your life, and maybe some things that you dealt with in your childhood, or maybe dealing with poverty, and it could be now that you hit some rough spots in your life, and you say, man, you just don't know. I'm dealing with poverty right now, or the price of, because of the inflation and the price of things in stores and goods and services, I'm struggling. I'm living paycheck to paycheck right now. It doesn't stay that way forever. Here's why I can prove this to you. I kid you not. And if you ever come to my house, you can talk to my friends and family members, and they'll validate every story. But you see where it says poverty? I was in a place in my life where poverty does not begin to explain. I took a $65,000 pay cut at one time, and my life changed. I didn't deal with poverty. I was poor. Yeah, flat out poor. I know the word is poor, P-O-O-R. That's the word poor. I was poor. I couldn't afford the other O-R. I was poor. I lost my house in foreclosure. I had 2 cars repossessed and taken away from me. And it was like nothing seemed to be working, but I always tell myself I'd win. The flip side of the story is the house that I live in now, I literally watched them build it stick by stick. I watched them from the day that the pipes came through the ground from the plumbing and the electric. Then they put the wires through for the electricity through the house, to the day that they poured the foundation, to the day that they finished. I wasn't here every day, but I watched it happen. That's the house that I live in. I have 4 vehicles in my driveway right now, and 3 of the 4, I have the title to. So I say that to say this: no matter what you face, it always gets better. If you find yourself in abusive relationships or relationship, and or if be it now currently or it's happened in the past, okay, let's take the steps to do what we can do to move forward. How can I get better? How can I grow through this situation? What are the life lessons that I'm learning that if I see this again, I don't have to deal with it the same way. I won't stress myself out and say this is the end, or this is it. My life is over and it's coming to an end. Why? Because you know that it gets better. See, when after you've learned some things and you've dealt with them, you never approach it the same way. If the dog bites you for walking up on the porch, you call before you get there, hey, put your dog away. I'm not going to let the dog bite me twice. Oh, he doesn't bite. If the dog has teeth and he bit you once, you learn the lesson, right? Life is kind of like the same way. When you see the things that bite you and it's developed stress, or it's pushing you to a place called burnout, or it's reducing your performance, it's changing the way that you see yourself, and it seems like, man, I'm losing in life. Remember this: you never lose. Write this down. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. It's never a loss. You either win or you learn. That's how we reduce stress. We win in a situation or we learn something from it. Okay, now I know what not to do. So when I'm in this situation, or even if it's something new and I have to take care of a chronically ill family member, or take care of a troubled family member, or someone who has a troubled past, or my children just won't do what I tell them to do. And it's like the more I teach them, it's like you want to shake them. And if you could not even shake them, just take it and peel the top of the head back, and you can pour in common sense and following instructions and put it back, and they would all do it. Boom, we will make it happen. But it's not that easy. So what do? We have to learn how to win through the situations and use the resources. I say it again, use the resources that are available to you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick quiz, okay? And it's a test, but it's not a pass or fail. But I want you to go through this test, and I want you to start at number 1, and I want you to go all the way down to number 42. And I'll give you 3. Yeah, you can do it in 3 minutes. You can use your phone calculator, whatever you have to tally up the points. But what I want you to do is start at number 1, and I want you to go all the way down to number 42. And anything that has happened in your life that is applicable to you, I want you to tally up those points, and we'll come back and talk about it in a few minutes, okay? So I'm gonna mute myself, and I'll give you 3 minutes to do it. Starting. Wait a minute. Here we go. Starting now. Okay, go ahead, get started. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm back. All right, so here we go. Now, I know many of you already looked at the chart on the side to let you know what your score is and how you measured up. Listen, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. All right. So, just real quick, if you score between 0 and 149 points, your susceptibility of developing a stress-related illness is very low, which is a great thing. And you're in a good spot right now. Keep doing what you're doing. Take care of yourself, focus on yourself, do what you have to do to keep the stress levels low, control the things you can control, let go of the things you can't. If you score between 150 and 299, you have a medium susceptibility to having or developing a stress-related illness. Remember, I said that your mental health as well as your physical health is impacted by stress. So start taking some time to relax, get rid of some of the stress, and start looking at what you can do to develop a healthy lifestyle to slow yourself down and kind of see these things work themselves out and get rid of as much of it as you can. Now, if you score 300 points or over, your chances or the susceptibility or the opportunity to develop a stress-related illness is high. Not saying it's going to happen, but the possibility is that the chance and the risk are high. Now, I do understand this. A lot of these things you have no control over. If someone passes away, we have no control over that. If somebody wakes up one morning and look at you, you know what, I'm tired of being here. I don't want to be here anymore. And they walk out of your life, what can you do? If you have to move because of a job change or something happens in a residence, a building, I mean, life happens to us. If that score is over 300 points, just because the chance or the risk is high doesn't mean that it necessarily has to happen to you. But what we're going to do is start looking at what we can do to reduce the stress in our lives. Let's start looking at the resources that are available for us so that we can reduce the stress in our lives and start taking some time for yourself. Take some time every day. I want you to think about this. There's some things you can take care of, and there's some things that you can't. Like I said earlier, there's to control the things you can control, let go of the things you can't. If you can't control it, let it be. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to write something down for me really quickly. Whatever you're taking notes on, I want you to write the word stress really big. I mean, I want you to write it so big that if you work from home, your neighbors see it through the window. Okay? Write the word stress really big on wherever you're taking notes. And I want you to draw a line underneath that word stress. So the word stress, just draw a line. And I want you to write the numbers. Do this for me. Here's a question. What is the one thing in your life right now that's creating the most stress? What is it? You know what it is. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to give you any ideas. I don't want you to think the thoughts that I have. But like, there's one thing in my life right now that's creating or developing the most stress. What is it? What are you most concerned about? That's keeping your blood pressure high or giving you tension, headaches, things like that. Whatever it is, write it down. Now draw a line underneath that one thing, whatever it is. So you have the word stress, a line. The thing that you say right now, this is developing or creating the most stress in my life. I want you to write a line, draw a line underneath that. And I want you to write the numbers 1 through 5 sequentially, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and leave yourself some space to write between each one. Okay. Now, next to number 1, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down one thing that you know. Okay, you say this is okay. I'll give you one of my ideas now. It could be your finances. All right, I'll just use that because that was a challenge for me for a long time. But finances is the one thing that's creating challenges in my life right now, or the creating the most stress. Next to number 1, what is one thing that you can begin to do today that will begin to reduce the stress from the thing that you say creates the most stress in your life? So if it's finances, number 1 may simply be stop spending. If you're in financial trouble, hey, let's not spend the money doing things that we shouldn't do right now because it's not in our best financial interest. You see what I'm saying? Let's put the credit cards away. When you say, well, man, I got to use the credit cards because I use credit cards to pay for this and do for that. But you know what I'm saying? Find something that is one thing that you can stop doing, that you can start doing today to begin to reduce the stress from what's creating the most stress in your life. And as you create this list, many times we'll see that those are things that we can control. We know if it's a bad relationship, or bad habits and things that we do, or health habits, the things that we eat, whatever it is, things that when we write this list from 1 to 5, it's things that we can change on our own or things that we have control over. Let's fix that. So your homework is, I was like, I didn't come here for any homework, man. What are you talking about? But your homework is, and I'll promise you I'll leave some time to do it. If you don't have time to finish it as I'm talking, finish number 2 through 5. Okay. And I want you to start working on that list. And I want you to start working on it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till Monday. Well, I'll wait till Monday so I can get a fresh start. No, we don't need a fresh start on Monday. Monday is too far away. Let's start today. On Tuesday, right now at this very moment, start working on those things. Because when you see the effects of stress and what it does to you, and you start talking about the aches and the pains and how it's impacting your physical life as well as your mental health, ask yourself, is it worth it? When I was dealing with the headaches, absolutely not. I was under so much stress, or put myself under so much stress, that I started to develop cluster headaches. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but imagine, okay, if you have headaches, and you probably dealt with migraines. Well, cluster headaches are a step above migraines, not a step above in a good way. They're worse. And the only thing that I could do was lay in a dark room, take the medication because I could feel it coming on, take the medication, lay in a dark room and put a cold towel over my face. And then I realized that there were some things that I could do about it, like start exercising, eating better, reducing sugar and salt in my diet, things like that. And then start making sure that I take some time to sleep, start changing the way that I saw myself in my life. Because a lot of the negative feelings that we have many times are generated from the thoughts and ideas of other people. And we grew up hearing this lie, you know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's a lie. No, words do hurt. So when you start developing negative thoughts and from the words and some of the things that we've dealt with, how do I deal with that? And some of the other things that we can see that are happening in our lives, tell the truth to yourself about it and tell the truth to your doctor. Two people that you should never lie to. Well, you shouldn't lie at all, okay? Not even a small white lie. But two people you never lie to, your attorney and your doctor. Those people can save your life. You don't want to go to jail? Tell the attorney the truth. All right? You want to be healthy and strong? Tell your doctor the truth. Those two people you never lie to, because when it comes to our health, it's very important that we realize that, man, I need to do something to get better. Most people don't realize it, that the aches and pains, the joints, or the not being able to go to the restroom and all these things that they deal with are stress-related illnesses. And so when you go through this list, you'll begin to realize, or you'll see, and this is a study done by the American Medical Association. They say that 90% of the people that show up in doctors' offices for stress-related or for illnesses are stress-related illnesses. 90%. So that means no car, not barring car accidents, slip and falls, broken bones, sport accidents, things like that. Okay, we can push that to the side. But 90% of the people that show up have stress-related illnesses. We got to do better. If I'm having these complaints and these feelings, why am I feeling this way? Why is it slowing me down? And why is it that I need to go to the doctor again? Why am I having these thoughts or the way that I feel like, man, no matter what I do, it's never enough. And it's just too much to get done at one time. And we rush to do everything. You ever notice how often, for those of you who have children or ever taken care of children, they could be adults now or nieces and nephews, been around kids at all, or even in your own personal life. Hey, hurry up, we got to go. Come on, get in the car. We have to get there. Get your clothes on, get your shoes on. Come on, hurry, hurry, hurry. And that's the way we live. We hurry and we rush for everything. Come on, I have to hurry and get to work. Don't slow me down. Don't ask me too many questions right now. Call me in the car. You know what I'm saying? That's how we live. That's stress. Write this down, slow down. Slow yourself down. Don't look at, man, you know what? I just have to have a drink now because, man, I'm under too much stress. Does the drink really help the problem go away? I know it makes us, because it alters the mind and the brain a little bit and, hits the thought where we produce thoughts at. And it's like, you know what? This is my time to relax. If you consume alcohol or smoke cigarettes, that's not up to me. But I'm saying don't let that be your out, and it slows you down. Don't let that stop you from being the best version of yourself. Don't allow trying to do too many things or multitasking, saying that, you know what, I can do it all at once, because there's no such thing as multitasking. You can't do two things at once. You focus on one thing and you get it done while the thoughts of the second thing are going through your mind because you stop to do the other one. Okay, well, I can talk on the phone and cook dinner. You consider that multitasking? Good. But sending an email and writing a handwriting notes or texting at the same time, you do one at a time. Slow your life down to the point where, you know what, write this down for me. Time box your tasks. Write that down. Time box your tasks. Give yourself time to do the things that need to get done. Because what happens is you'll find yourself stressed out and you speak so fast, you talk so. I talk fast because I used to stutter. I used to stutter really bad. And I found out when, back in the day, I know, short story, we had to read. So it was like you read a paragraph. So I would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when I got to the fifth paragraph, I knew it was my turn to read and I would stutter. And so one day, this is what made me start talking fast. I got to the word, and the very first word in the paragraph I had to read was the word do. and I said, do, and the entire classroom started laughing. And I knew why they laughed. It hurt me, but it didn't hurt me. And I just played it off and I laughed with them. But I realized if I knew that I was the fifth paragraph, I could read it. And the faster I read it, boom, I would get it out, spit it out, boom, and I was done as off to the next thing. But when you start speaking fast because you don't know what to do, or you eat too fast because you have to rush to get to the next thing, slow your life down. Slow your life down. When I tell you time box your task, literally, if you start work at 9 o'clock, from 9 o'clock to 9:55, this is what I'm going to do. This is all I'm going to focus on. This is all. If someone comes to you, you know what? I'm going to teach you a word that you probably shouldn't use in the workplace, okay? And if I offend anyone after I say this, do me a favor. Go to human resources, and I want you to slay me. I want you to write the worst letter you've ever written. I want you to, just say he shouldn't have said this. It's very unprofessional. He shouldn't use this in a professional setting. Whatever you want to say about me, drag me through the mud. But I promise you, when I teach you this vulgar word, it's going to change your life, okay? And I'm going to whisper it because I don't want everybody to know what I'm saying. We all family. We're here together. We're just family, okay? But I'm going to teach you this word. I want you to start using it. I want you to start using this word today. And it's going to help you cope with stress. And once you start using this word, you'll find out that your life is really going to change. And that word is, the word is no. I know you always, what is this dude going to say? The word is no. But many of you, that's a vulgar word. You choose not to say it because you feel like you're going to offend someone, you're going to hurt someone's feelings, or you know what? I can put off what I need to do to help somebody else. No, sometimes you have to simply put your lips together or use your tongue and develop this sound n and finish it with o. And they put it together, you get no. And once you learn to say no, your life gets better. The first time, it might be kind of hard. You'll be like, I don't know. I'll see. And you'll struggle through it. But eventually you're going to become a pro. You know why? Because the sooner you begin to say no to some things because you are overwhelmed, you'll begin to figure out that, man, the things that I can do and the things that, in the way that I perform and the things that allow me to be the best version of myself, that allow me to be the best mom, the best dad, the best sibling, the best child, the best employee, the best team member, the best leader, the best manager. You know how you get that? It's because sometimes you have to say no to some things. It hurts to say no, especially when people expect a lot out of us. But if you want to reduce the stress in your life so that you can function properly in the way that you need to, so that you can maximize who you are and people get the best version of you, sometimes you have to simply say no. And then that way, what you can do is the things that you can change, embrace them. I told you earlier, the things that you can change, embrace the things that you can change, the things you can't, let them go. Put yourself in a position that every day you get some sort of physical activity. I know it's getting cold outside. You don't have to join the gym. Listen, you can go to YouTube and pull up, 15-minute exercise routine to get your heart rate up. Do that every day. And you ever notice after you go for a long walk or run, kayaking, swimming, skiing, whatever you do, when you finish, you ever notice how much better you feel? It's a drag sometimes getting out of the bed to go, or you know what, man, I don't feel like the gym today, but I have to do it. But as soon as it's over, you get that burst of adrenaline. It's like, man, I feel better now. You owe it to yourself to get that feeling every single day. You owe it to your body. You owe it to your mental health. You owe it to you. You owe you to be the best person that you can be and make sure that your health is in good shape. Talk to your friends and your family members and tell them, hey, here's where I'm at. I have to make some changes. I'm going to give you some dinner tips. If everybody expects you to cook dinner every day, do me a favor. Hang out for 2 hours. Everybody eat some cereal and they'll all go away. If you need more tips, hang around me. I'll give you any of the best tips I can. But what I want you to do is start realizing, man, you don't have to cook dinner every day for people to survive. They will be okay. Eat some cereal, go grab something from a restaurant, cook it yourself. Yeah, that actually works, but I don't know how. Learn. You burn it up enough times, you'll figure it out that, you know what, man, I got it. And take some time every single day to laugh. I want you to find a comedian that you like, or watch a TV show that you enjoy, or a sitcom or something. Every single day, laugh. If you have some time on your lunch break, put your earbuds in your ear. Find a clean comedian. So I want you to tell them bad, dirty jokes at work, okay? But I want you to find a comedian, something that makes you laugh, and laugh every single day. Laugh with the people that are around you. Truly begin to enjoy your life, and you'll see that you feel better. And make sure you get adequate sleep, right? Keep this in mind, right? As a matter of fact, write it down. Don't just sleep. Get rest. I need you to get rest every single day. You ever notice, listen, there's a difference between sleep and rest. You go to sleep sometimes and you wake up in the morning and you're just like, man, I feel like I just laid down. Did I go to sleep? And it's like one pillow's on the floor, one's between your legs, the blanket's over here, the sheet's down here. And it's like, oh my goodness, that bed's wet because you've been sweating. You didn't sleep. You went to sleep, but you didn't rest. But watch this, the days and the nights that you rest, you know what happens? You wake up in the morning, you look around, and the covers is pretty much still in place. The pillow's under your head. You feel refreshed. You open your eyes. It's like, man, I feel pretty good. And you're ready to go get it because your body actually rested. You know what? I'm going to help you get some rest. This is one thing I want you to do. I know all of you have a smartphone. I know you do. I don't care if you have a jitterbug. Put it in your hand real quick. Grab your phone. Grab your phone. Grab your phone. Unless you're watching this on your phone, okay? But grab your phone really quickly. Do me a favor. Somewhere on your phone, I don't care if it's an Android, iPhone, Google Pixel, jitterbug, whatever it is. On one side of this phone, there's a button, normally three. One's for the volume and one's a power button. But if you hold that power button, you'll see this on your phone. It pops up. See that where it says power? Watch this. If you tap the button that says power, you may have to hit it twice. You may have to put your code in. This is what happens. Dun, 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 dun. It actually goes off. And I know some of you, that phone hasn't been off since you left T-Mobile, AT&T. You got it in the mail, Verizon, wherever that phone came from, Walmart. That phone, it doesn't know what it means to go off. And listen, because the phone dies, doesn't count as turning the phone off. No, you just didn't get to the charger in time. You find yourself running. I'm at 1%. I got to get that. No. Listen, 30 minutes before you go to sleep, turn your phone off. 30 minutes before you go to sleep. For the rest of your life, turn your phone off. But it's my alarm clock. Listen, go to the store, buy an alarm. You can probably get an alarm clock for like $6 now because nobody buys them anymore. Everybody depends on the phone. But you won't subconsciously have that thought in your mind of the zzz, 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 from all the text messages and all the alerts from Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff, the emails that come from work that you can do nothing about until 9 o'clock in the morning anyway. Turn it off. Because if you respond now, what's going to change? Absolutely nothing. You owe it to yourself. Turn off the phone 30 minutes before you go to sleep. If you watch TV, watch something that's going to make you laugh, but 20 to 30 minutes before you go to sleep at night, turn it off. Start developing healthy habits in your life. Take some time to read a book. If it's somebody laying in the bed next to you, talk to them. If it's not, read a book. Call someone before you go to sleep. Hey, man, just thinking about you. Want to let you know what? I appreciate you and the relationship you have. Have a good night and inspire somebody else. You know what's going to happen? You'll begin to start having these good thoughts about yourself. I believe in the law of reciprocity. What you give out is what you get back. Slow your life down and you'll begin to reduce stress. The more that you give out, especially the good things, those will be the things that you get back. And the sooner you start practicing these things, like turning the phone off at night, turning the TV off 30 minutes before you go to sleep, you'll see changes in your life that's going to reduce stress and allow you to be better. You'll realize that the heart palpitations begin to slow down because you're not super concerned about everything that's going on. You know something? And this is why I start turning my TV off before I go to sleep. And I make sure I don't watch certain things. My oldest son came to the house one day and he was at the house watching First 48. I walk in, he speaks, and I'm like, I've never seen the show before. I sit down with him, I'm like, what you watching? First 48. He explained the show to me. So I watched the rest of the episode. He said, all right, Dad, I'm gone. All right, Pops, he don't call me Daddy, call me Pops. Pops, I'm gone. I'll see you. So he goes back to his apartment. Well, me being intrigued by the show, I watched 3 more episodes. So I sit there from 8, probably like 8 o'clock. I watch from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. I finally take a shower. Midnight, I lay down. I wake up at 2 in the morning. Listen, you know how you see the white outline of the person on the, yeah. I saw myself in that white outline. I was a cop in Memphis. I was a detective on the scene. I was shot. I had been stabbed, and all of this was happening in my sleep. But I woke up like 2 o'clock, 2:30, like, what is going on? And then it hit me. All of this craziness I was watching before I went to sleep, my brain was still processing it. Think about how much we process throughout the day, not just with TV and all that kind of stuff. Listen, the life that you process, the work, the emails, the children, the spouse, the partner, the grandparents, whatever it is, man, you're Christmas shopping, you're thinking about your budget. Listen, slow yourself down. Start taking some time to breathe and just simply relax and see the life that you want. Take some time to visualize where you'd like to be. Watch this. I'm going to take you on a trip really quickly. We got to do it quick because we got to go. Time's of the essence, right? But watch this. Do me a favor. Right where you are, don't cheat, okay? Do me a favor. I'm not going to throw anything at you, I promise you. And if I did, it won't hurt. I guarantee you. But do me a favor. On the count of 3, I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to take you on a trip. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Close your eyes. Come on. No, seriously, close your eyes. All right, thank you. Now, watch this. It's 89 degrees. No, regardless of where you are right now, you're standing on the beach in Waikiki, Hawaii. It's 89 degrees. You're knee deep in the water, and the water is so clear that you can see your toes wiggling in the water. In your hand, you're holding your favorite beverage of choice. You have on a bathing suit. The sun is shining bright, and you feel a slight breeze blowing out of the south. at about 8 miles an hour. And it's just barely making your hair move, but it's good enough to give you a breeze to enjoy the day. Open your eyes. Now, where you are right now is probably 54 degrees outside, probably 34. I don't know where you are. But visually, you just saw yourself standing on the beach in Hawaii. You saw your toes moving in the water. Whatever your favorite drink is, you saw it in your hand. You had on a bathing suit and you felt that breeze. How was that? You put yourself somewhere away from where you currently are to be somewhere you probably really want to be. You can do that with your life every single day. Start seeing where it is you want your life to be. Where is it that I can start reducing stress, that I can put myself in this position that I'm winning every single day? I need to take some time to breathe and just simply relax. I need to wake up in the morning and take some time for quiet time, prayer, meditation, whatever you call it, you owe it to yourself to do it. But I have small children. Go in the bathroom and lock the door. Listen, start with 2 minutes. You don't have to start with an hour. Start with 2 minutes. Lock the door. Somebody knocks on the door, flush the toilet. They'll walk away. I'm telling you, it works. I've done it. It works. If they come back and make a noise, they'll leave. I promise you, you have to do what it takes to make your life work better. You have to do what works for you, okay? But take some time to breathe every single day. Do me a favor. One more exercise before we go. Sit up straight in your chair. Now, what I want you to do is just relax your hands. Put your pen, your pencil down, whatever you have. Just relax your arms and your hands. On the count of 3, I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath and hold it. I'm going to count to 5 while you're holding a deep breath. And then I'm going to count to 5 again. And I want you to slowly exhale. So it'll be like this. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. And then I'll say exhale. When I say exhale, I want you to slowly exhale for a count of 5. Y'all ready? Okay, so here we go. Relax. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Hold it. Now slowly exhale for a count of 5. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Hold it. Slowly exhale. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now relax. Watch this. I'm not in the room with any of you all, but I guarantee you, if the truth be told, there are like 3 of you right now. You're looking at the lights like, man, did the room get brighter? Like, what just happened in here? Like, did somebody turn up the lights? And there's 2 of you, at least one of you, I know you're lightheaded right now. You know why you're lightheaded? Because you don't even take time to take a deep breath. That's why the room seems brighter. Your brain is like, oxygen, oxygen. You ever seen the movie Gladiator with Russell Crowe? Where it said, Maximus, Maximus. Your brain is screaming right now, oxygen, oxygen. Yeah, put some oxygen in. Slow your life down. Slow down. And you'll feel better. I promise you it works, okay? All right, so here we go. And to make sure that you're doing things right in the workplace, number 1, like I said earlier, you hit a person walking and they're changing, and they change your mood. Identify what your triggers are. What's upsetting you? What's not happening that you need to happen? What are you not communicating? What is it about you that people should know that they don't know that slows down your performance or you being who you are? And then tackle those stress triggers. If it means having a conversation with your supervisor, with your manager, with your boss, or whoever it is, or you talking to the subordinates on your team, whoever it is, have those conversations. You know why? Because when you identify the stress triggers and you tackle those triggers, people will see the best version of who you are. They'll see the authentic version of you, and they'll start to say, okay, man, this is who I am. If you're in a leadership position and you need to share a thought or a weakness with someone or the people on your team, share it with them. I know some of you are like, man, I can't share my weaknesses. I'm in leadership. Watch this. They know anyway. They deal with you every day. But if you open up and say it and you show some sort of vulnerability, they will do the same thing and your team will grow just like you. Work on your time management. I told you, time box your task every single day. Time box your task. Set a time to do the things you need to do and keep things in perspective. What I mean by that, keep the main thing, write this down, keep the main thing, every single day. Keep the main thing, the main thing. Here's some toolkits you can use. These are in your workbook that you have, so I don't have to go through them, but I will ask you to make sure that you take some time every day to be mindful of where you are. If life punches you, be resilient enough to get up and then meditate. I told you, start with 2 minutes every single day. Go in the bathroom, lock the door, flush the toilet if you have to, and then don't just sleep, but get rest. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop those in the chat for me. And I want to quickly remind you that this was presented to you by SupportLinc, and we are your employee assistance program. And our job is to simply help you deal with the day-to-day life challenges that we all face. Life happens to us all. But the thing about it is, when life happens, we don't have to do it alone. And you have a resource available to you that you and your family members can use that will allow you and your family members to grow through the situations that you need to grow through. and to see the things that, man, you know what, here's an opportunity. Even if it's not stress, if there are other things going on, from financial consultations or legal consultations we can help you with, down to convenience referrals. Hey, my dog walker quit this morning. I need somebody to help me find a dog walker. Call us. We'll reach out to the people in your area, find you the best ones that we can refer to you, and get those and allow those things to happen to you. And to reach out to us, all you have to do is either call the number on the screen, go to the website, or scan the QR code with your smartphone really quickly, or I'm sure you can reach out to your human resources department. They have the same information that I'm sharing with you right now. Use the resources that are available, because you owe it to yourself to live a stress-free life, or with as little stress as you possibly have to. And when you get in, all you have to do is type in the word Lifewell, and it'll open up to you, and it'll show you everything that we have. Just go in. Listen, even if you don't need the services today, go in, be like me, be nosy. Just go in and look around and see what's out there for you, and see the services and the things that are available to you. And I challenge you to use the services for two reasons. Number one, it's absolutely free. So you don't have to go through human resources, or you don't have to do, it's not connected to your regular health insurance. And then number two, because it's free. And then number two, it's 100% confidential, and your confidentiality means everything to us. So please, please, please use the resources that are available to you. With that being said, I'm gonna leave this time for questions. So if you have any questions for me, drop those in the chat or unmute yourself. And if not, I'll let you all get back to your day. But I thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope I shared something with you that was valuable and that you can use to begin to increase your life and live as stress-free as you possibly can. All right. My name is Monte, and it's been my pleasure, and I'll see you all next time. All right. So I'll turn it back over to Sarah.
Thank you so much, Monty. Those were really great tips. I'll go ahead with just a question of my own, and everybody feel free to drop your questions in the chat if you have them. Monty, you spent a lot of time talking about the importance of mindset, and I loved that. How do we balance having a positive mindset with real challenges people may be facing in their lives? I think, the tips you shared, you said this wasn't life-changing. I disagree. I think if we actually put into practice the things you were talking about consistently, and we have, those habits, it can really be helpful. But how would you advise someone who is struggling to have a positive mindset when they're just feeling flooded and overwhelmed?
I'll tell you, this is what I do, and this is something that helped me. I start my morning every day. The very first thing I do when I feel myself waking up and my eyes open, I smile. Because many times we wake up and we start thinking, man, I got to go to work. I have to respond to these emails. I have to do this. So I smile. And it literally begins to change my mindset from the moment that I open my eyes and I smile. And I smile all the way to the bathroom to brush my teeth, taking a shower, whatever. Because I have to start early. I believe this is a thought process that I use, and I believe this to be true. The first thing that gets to your mind wins. So if you're in a battle and you allow the negative thing to take the first blow, or the first hit, or get control of your mind first, it impacts it. So for me, I smile. The second thing that I do is I tell myself, or I say something out loud that begins to direct my day. Because, okay, when you say things, you change the direction of how you feel. Or I'll just say it like this: I interrupt the thoughts with something else. Okay, watch this. Do me a favor, Sarah. Do me a favor. I want you to start counting to 10 out loud. Okay, unmute yourself and count to 10 out loud. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Say your name. Say
7,
your name.
Sarah.
Say your name.
8, Sarah.
What happened
9.
What happened to the counting when you said your name?
It stopped.
It stopped. And that's what I mean by we have to interrupt the thoughts. And sometimes that's why I say certain things like that. If I start having negative thoughts, I tell myself, like, man, you will not have negative thoughts, or you're not going to think that way about this. But one thing that I honestly say truly helped me is not just the smiles or just interrupting the thoughts, but using resources that were available to me, like using the EAP, or using the resources that are available, having conversations with people that I know that I can trust, or using a therapist. Those things help me, because life is real. And I know that's why I said a lot of the things I say, it sounds like, man, that sounds easy, but it's not really that easy. So how do you do it? But you have to use the resources that are available to you as well.
Agreed. Thank you so much, Mr. Monte Land. We're very, very grateful that you were able to join us, and hope everyone on the call has a great day, and that you can put some of these tips and habits into practice. Any last words?
Yes. Well, let me answer this question. Someone says, how do you deal with the challenges in the workplace that continue even after you say no? This is how you deal with that challenge. Make it known verbally and then write it down. Because when you're open and honest with people and you tell them, yeah, I said no, here's why, because I'm stressed out. I have 36 things on my plate. You want me to do 37 and put that at the front? It's not realistic. And then let them know, here are the repercussions of if I make this a priority, here's what's going to fall behind. And you always have to, this is where the selfish moments come in. You always have to make sure that people know that, man, I'm human and this is only as far as I can go at this moment. Now let me complete these things. Give me 2 days or a day and a half or whatever it takes, and then I can move forward and finish those things. And the very last thing that, and I hope that answered that person's question, but the very last thing I'll say is this: when it comes to dealing with stress and who you are, remember that everything that you do is a matter of the heart. You control your heart, you will control your life. On the count of three, point to your heart. 1, 2, 3, point to your heart. And I'm sure that everybody watching did just like this. Here's your heart. This is where we make decisions. This is who we truly are. And when we make heart decisions, we make the right decisions. So that's all I have. But thank you all so much. And I'll see you all next time. Take care. Have a good rest of your day.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks for joining us.